Property and justice are water. No man can hold them long. I've spent many years in courtrooms, and I've seen property and justice change when a man speaks, change as the caterpillar changes to the butterfly. I thought I had victory in my hands, and then the judge spoke, and it went away, like water running through the fingers. We are accustomed to losing. Since George Washington promised us these lands as long as the mountain stands and the grass is green, and then broke his promise and stole part of them back in 10 years, we have lost. Always lost. I worked long ago in New York City in construction, like many young men of the Mohawk Nation. I found that whites were often like us, and I could not hate them one at a time. But they do not know the earth or love it. They do not speak from the heart, usually. They do not act from the heart. They are more like the actors on the movie screen. They play roles. And the leaders are not like our leaders. They are not chosen for virtue, but for their skill at playing roles. Whites have told me this in plain words. They do not trust their leaders, and yet they follow them. When we do not trust the leader, he is finished. Then also the leaders of the whites have too much power. It is bad for a man to be obeyed too often. But the worst thing is what I have said about the heart. Their leaders have lost it, and they have lost mercy. They speak from somewhere else. They act from somewhere else. But from where? Like you, I do not know. It is, I think, a kind of insanity. I was in the army. We went to fight a bad white man. Or so the whites told us. We had meetings that were called orientation and education. There were films. It was to show us how this bad white man was doing terrible things in his country. Everybody was angry after the films and eager to fight. Except me. I was only there because the army paid more than an Indian can earn anywhere else. So I was not angry, but puzzled. There was nothing that this white leader did that the white leaders in this country do not also do. They told us about a place named Literacy. It was much like Wounded Knee. They told us of families moved thousands of miles to be destroyed. It was much like the Trail of Tears. They told us of how this man ruled his nation, so that none dared disobey him. It was much like the way white men work in corporations in New York City, as Sam has described it to me. I asked another soldier about this, a black white man. He was easier to talk to than the regular white man. I asked him what he thought of the orientation and education. He said it was shit, and he spoke from the heart. I thought about it a long time, and I knew he was right. The orientation and education was shit. When the men from the BIA come here to talk, it is the same. Shit. But let me tell you this. The Mohawk Nation is losing its soul. Soul is not like breath or blood or bone, and it can be taken in ways no man understands. My grandfather had more soul than I have, and the young men have less than me. But I have enough soul to talk to old grandfather, who is a raccoon now. He thinks as a raccoon, and he is worried about the Raccoon Nation more than I am worried about the Mohawk Nation. He thinks the Raccoon Nation will die soon, and all the nations of the free and wild animals. That is a terrible thing, and it frightens me. When the nations of the animals die, the earth will also die. That is an old teaching, and I cannot doubt it. I see it happening already. If they steal more of our land to build that dam, more of our soul will die, and more of the souls of the animals will die. The earth will die, and the stars will no longer shine. The Great Mother herself may die, and it will be because men do not speak words, but speak shit!